So it's been a real long time since I've done this, probably about 10 years. They just gave me my channel back a couple of weeks ago, and I almost have 1,800 subscribers on this channel, which I totally forgot about. They terminated this channel, I think, about 3 years ago. Um, those of you who know me know that I had another channel long time ago that got terminated, probably 2015, 2016. I was kind of surprised that they gave me this channel back. And since I got the channel back and it has 1,800 subscribers, I just figured I should actually do something on it. So I just thought I'd sit down here, and I don't really have anything planned to talk about, but if I have the means to do it and I have that many subscribers, probably a lot of those subscribers don't even exist on this plane anymore. Some of them are probably on the street, some of them are probably dead. As far as people that remember my old channel, there's probably very few of those. And obviously, I can't really get into the things that I talked about on my old channel because I don't have $1 billion to spare. But I thought that it's kind of my responsibility, since I have this channel, to try and do what I can to relay some knowledge that I have, and maybe try and help people. I'm not some incredible guy that is some authority, but I do have a lot of hard-won experience. And one of the things that I wanted to get into today was, for guys like me, we look around and we see everything that's going on in our countries, in our societies, and we look at, in particular, things that are injurious to women and children. And for years, I looked at Britain and I saw this grooming thing, and I've been aware of that for, I don't know, 20 years now, and I've been following it for a long time. I kind of follow that kind of realm of things for probably 30 years of let's just call it child abuse in an organized fashion. I've been following that and the research of that for a while, and one of the things that really bothered me, or that made me question that whole situation, was, where are the men? Where are the fathers? Where are just the random men, street guys, that would take care of this? If they knew what was going on, I mean, why didn't they get together and take care of this? And there's an answer to that, and it's a complex one. And I would recommend going and I have 4 articles that I put together under cultural alchemy, and they're in a playlist on this channel. And I would recommend going and listening to those, because this kind of leads into those. But this kind of neutralization, or even castration or neutering of men, took place over the past 80 years. And you could even say that it took place over the last 100 years. I'd say that that's a good little block of time where it really happened gradually, and it really went into overdrive after World War II. It was kind of an open operation after that. And then it really went downhill probably around 1987. It just totally collapsed, and men kind of forgot what their responsibilities were, and they became very beaten down, and and gelded, I guess you could say. Um, and there's a whole other thing that applies to women too, and what has happened to women. And I'm sure a lot of the people watching this are aware of this. But particularly my generation, Generation X, really got the brunt of this. I was born right smack dab in the middle of what they call Generation X. And if you look around on the streets and you go down to the downtown of your mid-size or big city near you, you'll notice that a lot of the guys on the streets trying to kiss their toes are my age. They're around 50, in their lower 50s, 51, 52, 53, kind of in a 10-year section between 45 and 55. Much of these people are, not just the men, the women too. And you start looking into that, why my generation is so screwed up. And this is on a personal level too. It's not just me looking around at the street. The people I'm close to, the guys I grew up with, they've all been through a lot, and they're all kind of struggling with sanity. I think everybody is struggling with sanity, and it always brings me back to something that a guy named Alan Watt said once, and this like echoes in my head at least once a day. And Alan Watt, Cutting Through the Matrix, not Alan Watts, who's another good guy to listen to. I don't agree with everything that Alan Watts said, and I communicated those things to him through email while he was still alive. And but I agree, he opened a lot of doors for me, and I'm forever grateful for that. And he was a very special guy. But anyway, he used to say this thing where he'd say that the hardest thing to do in the next 20 years is going to be able to be staying sane, to stay sane in the next 20 years. And that's playing itself out. That is a difficult thing to do. And one of the most important things, and I think the most basic thing, and really the primary thing to do right now for everybody, not just people in my age group or from my demographic, is to have some kind of spiritual anchor, whatever that is, something that feels real to you. And through that spiritual anchor, having a real knowledge of yourself. If you don't have that, and you don't at least try to find that cause and that root of yourself and become acquainted with that essence, you're just going to be adrift at sea, and you're going to be getting blown around by every new thing that comes along. And there's a lot of people that they're awake to all this external stuff, all this stuff that's being thrown at them through the media and thrown at them through the state and through academia, and just in a million different ways. I mean, it's a full spectrum attack. But they're awake to those things. They're awake to this external game. But there's a whole other thing going on inside of you, and how you've been conditioned, and how to decondition yourself, not just from those things, but things that have occurred to you over lifetimes, things that are in your heredity, that go very deep. And this is a very difficult thing to do, but you should at least be trying to find some kind of stillness inside of you, some kind of acquaintance with the eternal inside of you to stay sane through this. Because I think it is going to get crazier. The state is going to get more, there's going to be more and more of a crackdown. Another thing that Alan Watt said once, I wasn't planning on quoting Alan Watt a bunch in this, but he had this allegory once where he's talking about a field with really tall grass, and underneath this grass, where you couldn't see it, is a net. So you're in this big field, and slowly this net is being drawn up on the corners and the edges of this field. And that's a really good analogy. That's a very good allegory for what's occurring right now. And people are starting to be able to see this net coming into view. So, yeah, it is a full spectrum attack, and you need to be cognizant of that. And what do you do in the midst of a full spectrum attack when you're just a regular guy trying to support his family or just trying to survive, period? Well, there are people that go off grid, and they find a place in the country and they get a bunch of stuff to defend themselves with and hoard a bunch of food. Most of us can't do that. We've got responsibilities. So things are going to get a little crazy, and getting all caught up in this social media stuff and this whole soap opera with kind of truth leaders that they're putting up there for you, and that they allow just so much truth out there, and then they create a soap opera between those people, and just really divorcing yourself from all that. Divorcing yourself from, if you can, just divorce yourself from screens in particular, whether it's your TV screen or your phone screen. I know that's a little ironic with me communicating to you here through that, but to find that intuitional sense within yourself and to be able to start using that to filter what you the takes that you're getting from those sources. There's nobody that I have a good intuition about anymore that's on that's making podcasts, and I'll just name a few guys that I did in the past listen to that aren't really around anymore. And there are a few guys around still, and I never completely agree with anybody. They're all coming from different directions, and there's plenty of things that you can learn from people that you don't agree with about kind of, even spirituality. I mean, I definitely don't agree with everything that E. Michael Jones says about, I don't agree with his spiritual stance, or that doesn't congeal with me, but I've learned tons from E. Michael Jones. Another guy kind of along that line is Matthew Raphael Johnson. I've learned tons from him, from his research and his writing. I don't completely agree with him, but guys that I kind of related to the essence of, and that were my age. Matthew Raphael Johnson is kind of in there because we're both the same age, and I can relate to him in that sense. But Robert Raybolt, not around anymore. Incendiary Radio. I used to listen to that radio show every Sunday, and when it's gone, you're kind of like, damn, I don't have that there anymore for me to it's kind of like having a brother, out there. Anyway, I gotta go right now. So anyway, it's I hope it's good to see me back, and I'm gonna try and do these kind of frequently. I hope I didn't say too much. I'll work on that.